Assalamu alaikum with Farjan Ali at 101 Incredible Women series. Another beautiful day with another incredible woman, Rubina Jamal. She is CEO of Insolito Associates. Rubina, it's a great pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you, Farjan.
Would you like to share with your personal profile today?
Well, I have two sisters. We're three sisters raised by my mother single-handedly. And I saw her struggle, and that was a long time back when usually you didn't have single mothers raising children. But that left me thinking that I had to become strong enough myself so that I could always look after myself. And my father lived in America, and we lived here in Pakistan with my grandparents. But he did influence me. He always encouraged me to study and to work hard. And that was a time, in the 1980s when girls were supposed to get married. The sooner you got married, the better you were. अच्छी लड़कियों की शादियां जल्दी हो जाती है, बाकी तो बैठी रह जाती. वो ज़माना था. बहरहाल, my father encouraged me, and I went abroad to study. I did my master's first in psychology from Karachi University. Then I went to America to do my master's MSc in industrial psychology. So at that time, there were no industrial psychologists. It was an upcoming field. So I took the plunge and I studied what I wanted to study. I did what I wanted to do, and I think I became quite strong-headed at an early age. Whatever I wanted to do, when I was determined to do something, I got it done. And that's what my husband tells me today also. He says, I've never known you to want to do something and not get it done. And I started practicing as a industrial psychologist in the corporate sector. I believe I was the first industrial psychologist in Pakistan. And since then, it's been about 30 years I've been working with the corporate sector. And for the past 10 years or so, I've started running boot camps up country, where we take the corporate sector for team building events up country. And I design all kinds of exciting and fun things for them. Raft building. They say build their own rafts and sail on them. Then there's rock climbing, rappelling, lots of different things.
Well, Rubina, as you said that you were the first woman in industrial psychology, and that journey did not stop there. It just kept on going, and still you're doing lots of adventures. यहाँ पे मैं आपसे जानना चाहती हूँ कि in Insolito Associates, what services you are providing?
Training and development and HR consultancy services.
And what about your adventures that you are going through nowadays?
Well, it's part of the corporate activities that I do, but it's much more fun, and it's what I love to do. I love being up in the mountains, and being up in the mountains made me start thinking about K2 and Everest, and I started reading up on them, and that the adventure that goes with it. There are certain adventures we do at a smaller scale, but these are bigger adventures. Mountain climbing. So that's triggered my mind off, and I decided one day that I wanted to do the K2 base camp trek.
And would you like to narrate about the K2 base camp?
Okay, all right. Spending so much time up in the mountains, I love the mountains, and my eyes never tire of watching the view. We could be driving for 10 hours in a coaster, and I will not sleep because I just want to watch every tree and every mountain as we go by. And then I decided one day that I must see K2 itself. I want to see the mountain itself, because it is one of the mountains which is, Nanga Parbat you can see when you're crossing. Rakaposhi ka viewpoint hai, but K2 you have to walk up to the base camp in order to see it, up to Concordia.
And how was that experience when you reached there? What was your dream and you achieved it?
Well, I have to say it was a very, very difficult trek. It was not a joke, and we didn't realize it. I had no idea that it was going to be so difficult. It was a trek of many days. So, when we got there, I also questioned myself when I saw K2, and after all that we had been through, I took 3 school friends with me. I thought, ki badi aasan kaam.
It was just a trekking part that you have to do as routine.
And they lived abroad, and I told them, chalo, bahut maza aayega. What an adventure it will be, because hum school mein bhi bahut shaitan the, the 3 of us. So, 3 of my friends and I, और हम रात को बैठ के रोते थे और हंसते थे. We just didn't know what to do because we'd be so dead tired and also scared and cold, and कभी आप जा रहे तो बर्फबारी शुरू हो जाएगी, कभी sandstorm शुरू हो जाएगा. You will walk for days in the burning sun because there are no trees on that trek. So you know आपकी पानी की bottle टूट जाएगी. There are no shops. मेरी पानी की bottle टूट गई. I didn't have a water bottle. Imagine walking for hours in the scorching sun and not having water. या आपकी bottle टूटी भी, उसमें से पानी पीना. So anyway, but you know, I mean, when you've done something like that, then nothing seems impossible.
So it's a beautiful message, I would say, that if you want to achieve something, nobody can stop you. And when a woman decides to achieve something, there's no force to stop her.
Yes, definitely. And I think that we all should get out there and have more adventures and fun. I find that my friends who are my age will say कि हमने तो रात को देर से घर से बाहर भी नहीं जाना. You know, हम थक जाते हैं, देर हो जाएगी और मुझे आज दिन में ये करना है, रात में नहीं कर सकती. And I don't know, I just feel that energy and age is something that you control. And I do a lot of work on women empowerment during my training sessions, diversity and inclusion. And I'm often invited as a speaker on Women's Day. And my central message to all women of every age is to, stop sitting and saying your namaz. Stop thinking you can't do it. Just get out there and get it done. No, हम बैठ जाते हैं, हम समझते हैं अब मुझसे ये नहीं होगा. I'm too old to do this or too old to do that. And I started doing everything after 50. I did the Nanga Parbat base camp trek, Rakaposhi base camp trek, which was a nightmare. At the Everest base camp trek 2 years ago.
Rubina, if I would be audience, I would have definitely clapped for you. Today, you're giving a new energy, a new passion to the women that age doesn't matter.
Yes, it doesn't matter. And then when I was, address women at conferences and things, a lot of them say, how did you get permission? And, no man wants to relinquish his authority and his control and his power over women. So it's not something that, शुरू में when we get married, we give it up because we feel that's what the ideal woman should be doing. And then when we try to get it back, it's too late. So you can get it back, but you have to get it back step by step and keep pushing. Don't give up and think. I mean, so many women who say, आप तो इतने मजे करती हैं, हमें तो इजाजत ही नहीं मिलेगी. So, इजाजत की बात नहीं होती, थोड़ा सा भड्डा करना पड़ता है. Do what you want to do. And I mentioned to you, Farzana, if your dreams aren't scaring you, you aren't dreaming big enough.
I do believe today.
Yes.
Your credo is my credo too now.
Yeah.
Rubina, it's such a beautiful conversation. I can see the women of 80s and the girl who changed the notion that if you do not get married, you cannot become the bigger. So you went abroad, you studied, and then the same women who did adventure at the age of 52. Yeah. And the women who is a great supporter of a journey towards gender parity.
Yes.
So would you like to share something on gender parity?
Well, we do run lean-in programs and help women to find their strengths and build their confidence. And it's not so simple. It just for a lot of there are so many women out there. 101 incredible women. They have found themselves. They have found their niche and they're there. But for all those women, there are thousands and hundreds of thousands who haven't, who are still sitting cloistered in their homes, and who even if when they have a skill, they don't know how to turn the skill into something that will make them money. हमारे problem क्या है कि the men control our financial situation. घर किसके नाम पे? मियाँ के नाम पे. गाड़ी, घर, bank balance, किसके account में सारे पैसे? मियाँ के नाम. And women live their lives afraid that अगर इस bubble में से हमने निकलने की कोशिश की तो हमारे financially क्या होगा हमारा? So the first thing that my message to every woman is that the first thing is you have to build your own financial strength. You have to find a way to do it because nobody is going to give you the money. There are very few men who are big enough to give you that. You may inherit something well and good, but if you आपने घर में नहीं बैठ के कुछ करना है, there is something or the other that you can do.
There are a number of women who are driving energy from you, and you are a role model for them. Who is source of inspiration for you?
My mother, definitely my mother, because when I look back, I think how did she raise 3 children? क्योंकि हम Ammi had very limited means, and she went and found a job for herself, and वो सुबह जाती थी, शाम को आती थी. We didn't even know कि वो अक्सर पैदल आती थी कि बस का किराया बच जाए उनका. And fortunately she had done her BA, and she had a reasonably good job, and she was a very confident person, very good looking. She didn't remarry because she thought of the three of us. So, you know, if my mother has been an amazing person, an amazing mother, our values, कि हम घर को भी लेके चलते, my sisters and I, you know, we don't neglect our children or our husbands. We also have found our own niche to work and make money. So that all came from her.
Any challenging moment of your life that you can share with us today?
Oh, well, I guess I mean, I've had a series of challenges like everyone else. I think the greatest joy and the greatest challenge in my life have been having twin boys when I was 10 months into my marriage. You know, it was something totally unexpected, having children so soon, and that two twin boys. And it was, I guess, the toughest 3 years of my life, like anyone who's had twins will know, but also the greatest joy. Now, mashallah, there's such lovely young men. That has been, I think, you know.
Well, Rubina, I can see a proud mother and a proud daughter sitting in front of me. How did you strike the balance between home and your working and your passion?
I was very lucky because initially I was working with a consultancy firm, and I would go work with them while my children were in school, and then I'd come home. And then after that I set up my office in my own house. I have always had my office in my house. So I try while the children are in school to set my meetings in the morning. And I do travel. My children will give you a very different story. They will say, "Ammi kabhi ghar pe nahi hoti thi, Ammi to har waqt travel kar rahi hoti thi." And my work demanded travel. I disagree with them, but I tried my best to be at home as much as I could for them. And I was lucky because I didn't have to go to an office from 9 to 5. Some days I'd be training or traveling, but the rest of the time I was...
Any specific message that you want to give to the women? Although I have number of messages from your conversation that you gave to the women, but any specific message at the end?
Okay, so I think the one most important message is that there is a big world out there, and I know the younger generation is studying and they're traveling and they're not worried about getting married anymore. You know, they're saying we'll find our own place and it will happen when it happens. And I'm very very impressed by that, and I wish we could have been more like that ourselves. But my central message to all women is that make yourselves financially stable. It's very important, because your freedom will only come when you have to stop worrying about someone else paying your bills and what would you do if there wasn't another person in your house. But I'm not saying to take your marriage lightly, to take life lightly. Marriage is important, having a good partner is important. So you have to balance both things. You cannot just live your own life and run around like... I mean, I would not recommend that, because marriage, to my mind, marriage is important for girls. There's a time to get married, and you have to learn to balance both.
It's a beautiful message, undoubtedly, and I'm privileged and honored to have such a wonderful women on our platform. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure for us.
Thank you, Farzana. Thank you very much.